High School Library at 2400 South Stagecoach Lane, Fallbrook, California 92028. Number 2 is the announcement of our closed session agenda. A is public employee discipline, dismissal, and release, Government Code Section 54957. B is conference with legal counsel pending litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9/D, item number 1. And then C is conference with legal counsel, anticipated legal significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code number 54956.9D2. And D is conference with labor negotiations, Government Code Section 54957.6. Our number 1, our district negotiator is Ilsa Garza Gonzalez, our superintendent. Number 2, employee organizations are FHSTA and SEIU. And number 3, unrepresented employees, classified management, certificated management, and confidential employees. Number 3, opportunities for members of the public to address the board on any item described in this agenda for the closed session. Opportunity will also be granted for open session items at a later time, Government Code Section 54954.3. Opportunity for members to address the board on any items described in this agenda for the closed session, which is item 54954.3.
We do not have any comments.
Thank you very much, Ms. Garza Gonzalez. Number 4, we will adjourn to closed session. Again, at the Fallbrook Union High School Library, 2400 South Stagecoach, Fallbrook, California 92028, and we plan to reconvene to open session at 5:30 p.m. Thank you. My apologies, I didn't have the mic on. And I'm short. Can you hear me back there? Awesome, thank you. Oscar's unavailable tonight. He's actually receiving an award at the County Office of Ed. Eddie Jones is under the weather. I am here. Paul Christensen, trustee.
Present.
Chris Haskell, trustee.
Present.
Nenny, our student representative, is absent tonight. Kira Hart
Present.
and Ashlyn Trujillo.
Present.
And our superintendent?
Present.
Great, thank you. Our informal review of governing team norms are as follows. The Board of Trustees approved norms are that we be respectful, be approachable, be open-minded, be communicative, no surprises, be willing to listen, be prepared, and be trustworthy. Report from closed session, Public Employee Discipline, Dismissal and Release, a Government Code Section 54957. There is no report. Item B, Conference with Legal Counsel pending litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9D. Also nothing to report. Conference with Legal Counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D2. Nothing to report. On item D, Conference with Labor Negotiations, which is Government Code Section 54957.6. Number one is our district negotiator, Ilsa Garza Gonzalez, our superintendent. Number two is employee organizations, FSTA and SEIU. And number three is unrepresented employees, classified management, certificated management, and confidential employees. Do you have anything to report on that at this time?
Nothing to report.
Thank you. I am going to, we need to adopt the agenda. I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move that the board adopt the agenda for the regular meeting of January 14th, 2026 as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you.
I do want to point out that the agenda is amended. It was amended on Monday to add item number 2, waive graduation requirement under student services. I just wanted to point that out to all board members.
Okay, item 2. Here we go. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Let's get our student board representatives to approve. Ms. Cruz is not here. Ms. Hart?
Aye.
Ms. Trujillo?
Aye.
Board members, Oscar is not here, excuse me. Paul, or Mr. Christensen, I should say.
Aye.
Mr. Haskell?
Aye.
Mr. Jones is out, and I will say aye as well. We have some recognitions tonight. Tonight, we would like to recognize, first off, the Fallbrook High School CTE Culinary Pathway students, Mr. Santo Cruz, culinary instructor.
Yes, our culinary students, come up, from the Fallbrook High School Culinary Pathway prepared this evening's meal for the board, which was delectable. I loved it. I would like to invite you now to tell us a little bit about, introduce yourselves, your role in preparing the dinner, how you went about it, preparing budgets, all of those things.
Take over because
Okay.
they do most of the work. However, this is 3 of our finest and most reliable students. They're always here with me to help me out with these catering events. And I just want to say thank you so much.
Good evening, members of the Fallbrook Board Committee. Oh, sorry. Good evening, members of the Fallbrook Board Committees. Thank you guys for being here. Tonight, me and my CCAP team, we were able to prepare today's meal for you guys, and we made baked ZT with garlic bread. I prepared the garlic bread, and Carmen prepared the garden salad, and
I prepared the baked ziti today.
And our intro class for culinary, they prepared the bread. They are doing yeast breads right now, so they freshly made fresh bread, and then it was baked off, and we were able to use that for the garlic bread. The pasta was pretty simple. We used marinara, heavy whipping sauce, and we just put it all together.
Well, thank you. When you walked in there, the smell was just amazing, and I admire anybody who can actually bake bread. I have attempted multiple times over the years with much failure.
Now, do you have an update on your competition, or it hasn't happened yet?
It hasn't happened yet, but it will be happening on January 24th. So we're very excited. Yes.
Where's it at?
It's going to be in LA. I'm not sure if it's going to be in Pasadena, California, or if it's going to be somewhere else, because we did go for our prelims and they were in Pasadena, but I think they may be.
Pasadena.
Yeah, it's gonna be impossible.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Hope we win.
Thank you so
Good
much.
luck.
We're glad you
Thank
guys
you
enjoyed.
all.
Thank you guys.
Here's my one comment for you. You know when you watch those cooking shows on TV and the chef has to get up there and explain everything that they did, and it's a bunch of verbiage that nobody understands, right? From the first time, I feel like you talk every time when you come in, and you're having to tell us all that stuff. It's kind of like a little game show, right? But I will tell you this: you have improved in your public speaking from the first day that you've come in. You've stepped up to the mic. You've asserted yourself. You're doing I'm impressed. You're doing a great job. You're on the spot, and I know it's embarrassing, but you're doing a great job of presenting it and introducing everything. So good job on that. It's not a game show. You're not going to win anything from us, but dinner was delicious. I'll say in the firehouse, baked ziti is just one of those that you can make a ton of. So everybody has food for not just dinner, but a late night snack or after a fire snack kind of thing. But there's a proportioning aspect to it, that if you do too much marinara, too much cheese, not enough noodles, all those kind of things, it kind of throws everything off. And it was perfect. You guys did a great job. The garlic bread, you could tell it was fresh bread because it was super soft and tasteful. And the salad with the red onions was delicious. So you guys did a great job. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. You
Good
guys
job.
have a blessed day.
Next, we would like to recognize our Migrant Education Program Region 9 Honor Student of the Year. I will let you make the announcement of the name.
And if I could have the board step in front of the dais, including our student board members. So today we celebrate an extraordinary student whose story embodies resilience, determination, and hope. Miguel Martin Antonio, a senior at Fallbrook High School, has been named our county's Migrant Education Student of the Year, and for good reason. The Migrant Education Program exists to ensure that students whose families move for agricultural work have the support they need to succeed academically, despite the challenges of mobility and economic hardship. It provides tutoring, advocacy, and resources so that students can stay on track toward graduation and beyond. Miguel's journey reminds us why this program matters. After experiencing the heartbreaking loss of his aunt, his legal guardian, to cancer, Miguel faced an unimaginable uncertainty. With no legal guardian and every reason to give up, he chose instead to persevere. Thanks to his own strength and the support of the Migrant Education Program, Miguel has remained committed to his education and his goal of graduating. He attends school consistently, treats others with respect, and gives his best every single day. Miguel's resilience, work ethic, and perseverance are nothing short of inspiring. He reminds us that character is revealed in the hardest moments, and his character shines brightly. Today we honor Miguel not only for his academic commitment, but for the example he sets for all of us. Congratulations, Miguel. You deserve this recognition. He is accompanied today by our migrant education staff here at Fallbrook High School, Blanca Lopez and Marisela Garcia, and I don't know if his cousin's arrived, but if his cousin is here, he is accompanying him tonight. Miguel and our staff, if you could step forward, please. Hoy celebramos a un estudiante extraordinario cuya historia encarna la resiliencia, la determinación y la esperanza. Miguel Martín Antonio, estudiante de último año en Fallbrook, ha sido nombrado el estudiante del año del programa de educación migrante en nuestro condado, y con justa razón. El programa de educación migrante existe para garantizar que los estudiantes cuyas familias se trasladan por trabajo agrícola reciban el apoyo necesario para tener éxito académico, a pesar de los retos de movilidad y dificultades económicas. Este programa ofrece tutoría, recursos y defensa para que los estudiantes puedan mantenerse en el camino hacia la graduación y más allá. La trayectoria de Miguel nos recuerda por qué este programa es tan importante. Después de enfrentar la dolorosa pérdida de su tía, quien también era su tutora legal, a causa del cáncer, Miguel se encontró ante una incertidumbre inimaginable. Sin un tutor legal y con todas las razones para rendirse, eligió perseverar. Gracias a su propia fortaleza y al apoyo del programa de educación migrante, Miguel ha permanecido comprometido con su educación y con su meta de graduarse. Asiste a la escuela de manera constante, trata a los demás con respeto y da lo mejor de sí cada día. La resiliencia, la ética de trabajo y la perseverancia de Miguel son verdaderamente inspiradoras. Nos recuerda que el carácter se revela en los momentos más difíciles y el suyo brilla con fuerza. Hoy honramos a Miguel no solo por su compromiso académico, sino por el ejemplo que nos da a todos. Felicidades, Miguel. Este reconocimiento es más que merecido. Presente con él esta noche están Blanca López y Marisela García. Gracias.
It's always a pleasure to recognize such wonderful students. I've been working since I was 11. My first job was delivering newspapers, but my second job was working for the migrant summer program at my high school, which was also very agricultural and obviously led me to where I am these days. So wonderful. Thank you for Miguel. Good congratulations, and thank you all for supporting him. Moving on to presentations, we have a report from SEIU. Mara Bauer, please.
Right. Good evening, board members. Thank you for inviting me back. We've had a lot of movement in this last couple months with our classified staff. We welcomed a new campus supervisor, Veronice Lagunas. She comes to us with a long history in Fallbrook, and we feel confident that she'll fit in well with our team. She's already proved herself this first week. I'm getting to know everyone here. She's very welcoming, so if you're on campus, she's in the flex position. Come say hi to her. I'm sure she'd appreciate meeting new people and getting to know her surroundings a little better. We've also had a lot of movement with our IT team. I don't know if you've noticed that we have new phones on campus. I'm sure those of you who are up at the district have noticed those. We all had to re-record our voicemail messages and get used to a new phone setup. I do recommend using the app when it becomes available. I got to be the guinea pig for that, and it does make things a lot easier. And then your phone rings on your phone and on your computer. So be looking for that. They're working hard at getting everything fixed and all of the wonderful new features that we have rolled out to where we can all use them properly and understand how to use them. There's a good video that we should all watch that goes along with that. So I know that was a lot of work over our Christmas holiday. That was how our IT team spent their holiday, was getting the new phone set up for all of us. We appreciate that. We do have board elections coming up for SEIU next month, so there will be a little bit of movement there. Not 100% sure who is going to be applying for what positions, but it won't change our bargaining team. We've already got that into place. So hopefully we'll be wrapping up with our negotiations soon, but at any rate, you'll see the same people at the table for however long that takes. We're going on. Yeah, and we don't have much else going on just yet. Looking forward to different changes that'll be happening with classified staff in the spring and summer this year.
Awesome.
You have any questions?
Just wanted to say thank you for everything that you do, Mara. I mean, on top of your job and helping transition new classified employees into being comfortable in their new roles, that means a lot and represents really well for our school, because it is really hard coming in. I was a paraprofessional for 4 years at 4 different schools, and so it's hard going into a new role, and it's a big campus and you don't know your way around, and if you've got somebody who really is willing to help you do that on top of what you do and representing the union. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you. It definitely helps that the library is centrally located, so they can always find me.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And then we also have a presentation, the Children and Youth Behavioral Initiative, CYBHI, Fee Schedule Program. Dr. Annabella Luna, our Student Services Director, will be presenting.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Initiative from the state. Just to give you some background, I didn't rush us into this program because there were so many questions. We wanted to know what the purpose was behind it, how it was going to impact a workload, the capacity we had, and that was a lot of it. These first year and a half, 2 years has been more of learning information. So it's been a slow roll and joining. We are in cohort 5 from San Diego County. There's already about 120 plus districts in Cali that are actually a part of the actual new initiative. It's a fee schedule. So just to go through this you'll see for the Children and Youth Behavioral Health Initiative, it's actually a statewide initiative that came about 2021, but is now kind of going through all of our other districts. It's meant to allow school districts to request reimbursement for school-based health services that are already provided for students. It is something that private insurance and Medi-Cal are fully aware that they are required to provide reimbursement. The program itself is made to streamline the process and also kind of create a new funding source for the districts to help either sustain the current services provided. So think of social worker that we have right now that's temporary at Ivy. So trying to sustain that to make them permanent. Any services that we want to bring in, whether it be programs or even with counseling, they want to expand services they do. So it is intended by the state for school districts to have another resource and funding, and also moving away from utilizing general fundings and not feel like we have to look for all these short grants that tend to only last for a few months. Why it's important for us as a district, again, that financial sustainability, as we're looking at all of our budgets, where we're at, funding source, we know that the needs for when it comes to behavioral mental health with students is increasing, but we also know that with our budgets, we have to be very careful with hiring. This helps us with recovering some of those costs. So it doesn't mean it will stop us from continuing counseling, mental health, small groups. It just would allow to expand that, or when it comes to doing events. So for example, taking a small group of students to visit certain colleges, or doing a field day to kind of build connection with the teachers. This can help fund that if the other sources of funding will not allow it. So it does allow that flexibility with it. It also will allow us to expand those student support services. So we think of, as we're looking at changing or improving the wellness center space for Fallbrook High School, the idea of a wellness coach, this would actually be funding that wouldn't be encroaching on the general fund, or that goes towards other needs. So the reimbursements could help sustain that position. The participation, like I said, will be in cohort 5. That just means that January we're considered a part of it. Billing, it all depends once we're ready. So it's not where the state is rushing us. It just means that now we're connecting with certain partners to actually set this up and build capacity within our own district. With it, I do want you to be aware, and the reason I'm presenting is I know questions come up about the billing piece. What does that mean for workload on our staff and who's going to be involved with it? Know that we are part of consortium because we're also small, and I am one person to try and help manage this. They did this for some of the smaller districts. There are a few of us a part of the consortium, and the county is actually providing guidance when it comes to how to manage the billing piece. They vetted locating an actual vendor that would do all the billing, so our staff wouldn't be doing any of that. All they would be doing simply is going on this server that you see, TAD Health, who was vetted by the county, go in at 1-2 sentence lines stating, met with student for 30 minutes, went over coping skills because of anxiety, submit it, and then TAD Health does all the billing piece. They would be the ones working with the state and their own third vendor provider with the billing part. So all our actual counselors, school psychologists, that already meet with students if they do small groups. Again, it'd be 1 or 2 lines. And a neat piece when we introduced this to the counselors is they requested we could do a little template on kind of some sentence starters or basic 1-2 liners that they could just copy and paste for their scenario. So it's been pretty good collaborating. And thankfully we have Mr. Miramontes from Ivy, who's had experience in this, and he was able to share, like, no, there's ways of making this easy. It's actually not too bad. So TAD Health is going to be guiding us. They are our electronic health record vendor. So when we talk about, think of privacy and the information where it's going, they would be the only ones that would have access to it. They would be talking to the insurance companies or Medi-Cal when it comes to doing the claims and for billing. The billing piece of it is only would happen if the parents are, and it's voluntary. So just to clarify, it's all voluntary for our parents. They're not required to share their insurance or give us consent. But what California is asking and trying to encourage our families to share what are your insurance providers, give us consent to do billing. And the billing all will be, again, with the insurance companies. Parents wouldn't be receiving anything. They're not being impacted. They're not being billed at all. It wouldn't impact. So, for example, if with Kaiser, if I have 10 sessions where I could go for mental health, my child can go for mental health, it wouldn't impact it if my child is also seeing a social worker at the campus. It actually is an additional resource, and I wouldn't be aware with my insurance being billed, I wouldn't be getting my copays, none of that is being impacted. This is all with the state, with our actual billing vendor. So that's how it's working out. And like I said, it all has to, TAD Health deals with all of that. Our staff wouldn't be involved in any of those pieces. They don't have to find out from parents if insurance has been provided, if there's consent. That's all stuff that TAD Health, with myself, we would be doing those pieces. Now with the communication, that's the other big piece. I want to make sure that you were aware of what's going on with us, where the rollout of how it's working out. There would be a letter going out to parents, letting them know about this voluntary process, asking for their insurance. It would also, they would be receiving a document that comes from Department of Health Care Services of why CYBHI came out about. It would be just letting parents know that it's referring to school-based services. If they choose not to provide their insurance care, that's fine. We still provide those services to students. They're seeing our social workers, our counselors, they're being a part of any of the support groups. Students still follow through. Our counselors just put the entry on the system, and eventually when the parent chooses to voluntarily provide the insurance provider info, then our TAD Health vendor can do the billing with the state. So our counselors wouldn't have to worry, our school psychs, about any of that piece. They just do the simple 1-2 sentence. And then once the parents choose to give us their information and consent that we can bill the state, then the state and TAD Health would deal with all of that. And then the reimbursement would then come back as other funding for needs in the school sites that we have. And just so you know, we do this already with special ed through SpedCare. So the Medi-Cal, initially it was only Medi-Cal services, and special ed would be the ones that could actually get reimbursed. So now what the state want to do is with the remainder of the students, they are providing services. They know that funding is limited. This is a way that now the insurances can kind of help back up those school-based mental health services. The other piece I know comes up is the impact on workload. I know that, and for me, that was also why I held off on even joining any of the cohorts. I was part of the capacity grant to kind of start working on what are the needs, how to help update the wellness center. But I was really holding off on even having to try and do anything with billing. So be aware that it doesn't add any more work to our counselors. They already meet with the students. They have to document in areas anyway, so it's really just putting 1 or 2 sentences on the TAD Health system. And they started already. We actually met with them in December with TAD Health. They went through and saw the actual system. We had one counselor who was already gung-ho and has started inputting as practice. And it says there, no one else has access to that. If I'm the counselor, I only can see my students and the entries I put for my kiddos. I can't see anybody else's. So just being aware, I know privacy is also a big thing, and the confidentiality. And I think confidential goes into that electronic record system, just so you're aware. All it is basic. Student was dealing with some anger issues, met with them, went through some counseling, and that's all that goes on there. All the other, anything confidential goes on Aries. That has to do with notes on that meeting. The other part with, just like it reads, nothing's being required, it won't impact our parents, and it won't change how kiddos are being referred or seen. So this is more just an additional way of getting funding sources for any services. And again, sustaining roles that maybe we have and are being in question. So just to wrap up, I think the big piece is looking at, it's meant to sustain, strengthen the mental health services, behavioral health services that we have, and really even connecting, creating that connection with our families I know one big thing that I would like to see is for us to create like a care closet, which would be having some of those basic needs for our students and maybe even our families. And I had a conversation already with our McKinney-Vento liaison of creating that space where it's shared, so that way there isn't any stigma with our kiddos that are homeless or unaccompanied minors. It would be for any kiddo that needs any items. I know, for example, my previous experience where we had a warrior closet, at Campus Soups, if they knew that a kiddo needed a sweater, they went to the closet, got a sweater, and give it to the student. Moved out, no questions asked. And a lot of that was being supplemented by short grants that we had or donations. So this would kind of help supplement even that need that we noticed at Ivy or Fallbrook High School. Any questions or suggestions?
Few questions for you.
Yes, go for
Is this a national service or a state service?
State, so it's the state, they're the ones really taking, they're the first ones to start this process.
Yeah,
And we're the ones basically piloting, let's say,
sure.
whatever.
Is it a requirement or a suggestion from the state?
So it is, when it comes to medical insurance and private insurance, they're required to provide the reimbursed funding to school districts. It's voluntary when it comes to our parents to be a part of it.
So if the parents don't consent or give their insurance information, we can't bill?
We can't bill. We still see them, they provide services and
Sure.
everything, but
Yeah,
we wouldn't be
But we don't
reimbursed.
get any billing reimbursement?
No, and the way TAD Health works per the state that we're allowed to is, let's say I meet with a student today, yeah, and I saw them, but parent hasn't consented. I will document it, we can keep it, we have a year to get reimbursement. So let's say that when we do data confirmation in August, and parents said, you know what, okay, I have better understanding what this is, and they provide consent, then we can bill there. But yes, it would.
The TAD Health, what does it cost for them? Are we losing funding by them doing the documentation? Like they take a 10% fee?
So part of the consortium, we get a certain percent, the consortium's paying for the service. So because we don't have the staffing to do the billing ourselves, we would be going through, I would have to look for an actual vendor. So what the county does, they vet it, and from my experience, no knock on sped care, TAD Health has been pretty good in handholding and guiding us through the process. So we would still be paying a portion of it. Thankfully, we received 30% of that. It's called capacity grant. So sorry, let me back up. We received a capacity grant to build this, work on it. TAD Health is being paid by that. The reimbursement part, it would be a small percentage that we would use to pay them continuously. But it's already being paid right now, actually, their service through a different grant that I received.
This is somewhat of a comment and somewhat of a question. You mentioned the parent notification. Is that every parent in the school just gets notified in August that there's this mental health consortium, and if you choose to go through it, like an informational packet in August, so every parent gets it, right?
So what I would like to do is send it out in February, the letter. So send out a letter and those flyers, the brochures and flyers to parents, and asking them starting now and see who's willing to provide the information now.
Right.
In August, once we can get ARI set up, then in the data confirmation, it would be a part of that,
Okay.
that piece.
And part of my comment of where the state goes, so I'm dealing with my health insurance and being restricted on my child's health at 12 years old. And then there's 13 years old, state requirement stuff for our state, right? If a parent is notified, if I get notified and I say, here's my insurance information, my daughter goes to one of these and goes through this process, what information as a parent am I getting back from the school, or am I relying upon my child to pass that information to me? Or is it, I just see it as another ploy of the state saying, hey, we're helping mental health, which believe me, I think is a great thing. But there's avenues of that as a parent, I feel like I should be given that, I have the right to know what's going on with my child's life if there's something going on that I can help with. And if the state is saying, we're doing this mental health thing, right, in the form of anxiety, that's great. Some of the other things that I may not be comfortable with, and my daughter doesn't want to talk to me about, I want to have that right to have that conversation with her or get that knowledge. So if she goes through something like this, is the parent given that information, or is it secretive from the parents?
So that's a great question, because in the letter that would go to parents is also an FAQ, and that's one of my questions on there. So it would be if your student is participating in, let's say, small group for anxiety. So it would be that the counselor or whoever referred the kiddo to that group should be notifying the parent, by the way, we're recommending that your child participates in this program, this small group that we have. We want to make sure that you're aware of it and talk to your child. So there should be that communication always with parents of, I met with your kiddo, they were dealing with this. That one should still be continuing to happen. And if
Okay.
it hasn't, that's something we would have to
Now,
follow
if
up.
it's an extreme case of something else, mental health wise, that goes further into mental health, and they're being advised like, hey, we need to go see a counselor, need to go to this, is the parent being notified? I don't want the parents to be left in the
Yes,
dark.
the parent, because most of the services, for example, we partner with community health systems. So we would need consent from parents. So you would have to be informed. We noticed that they're part of the small group. I'll give you an example. Kiddo's been a part of a 10-student group, anxiety. They seem to need some more deeper help. So then that would be where the counselor would need to communicate with parent. We have this other service on campus, community health systems. We'd like to make a referral to complete it. Do you consent so you can fill out the packet? And they usually will meet, community health systems is going to meet with you if you're open to it. So yes,
Right.
all of that, you should be notified. Now, what conversation the kiddo has with the social worker or school psych, that part would be the confidentiality where you would talk to them.
Yeah. I agree with the program. I think it's going to get a lot of feedback from a lot of community members based on where the state goes with medical information and keeping parents in the dark, which I'm adamantly against. I think the program's great. The presentation is great. To me, this is one of those state backdoor processes that all of a sudden become secretive to parents, and we don't know what's going on with our own kids, but the school does.
So let me clarify. With the CYBHI and even with our own consortium, the big piece that keeps coming out, it's meant to help support to continue services by making sure communication is happening with parents. Again, I don't know what happens in other districts, but I know that's
Yeah.
something we want to always make sure our parents are in the loop. But we're bound to make this referral. Make sure you're aware why.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think it would behoove us as a district to lay heavy on the parental involvement.
Yes.
And constantly updating specifics so that parents don't feel in the dark. Or I don't think that you'd get a lot of buy-in from a lot of parents without that, so.
No, and you're on it. That's the big piece why I was also kind of trying to do slow roll with this. And let's be more informed. What does this mean? How is it involved? What info should we give our parents? I need to know. And that's why I was like, can I do a presentation? When I send enough info to parents so they're aware, get informed, ask questions. I'm expecting questions. Yeah. Welcome. Any other questions?
I do, I have a few. To piggyback Mr. Christensen's question, so your hypothetical student, let's say they were in a group setting and then was found that, maybe has more anxiety than can be dealt with in a group setting, and more one-on-one counseling. Are there times where there's one-on-one counseling with parents, where the parents are part of that group to kind of, to get them involved and, kind of?
I'm assuming that would happen. It all depends on the conversation with.
Okay.
So I can think of our social work with community health systems. It all depends on what conversation they have with the student and parent.
Okay.
And if parent wants to be a part of it. I know that's happened before with a certain kiddo that I know of. That would be, again, it's a conversation where they would involve. And I know community health systems, for example, they like to involve parents and make sure there's that consent piece.
Okay, because I know at one point when my daughter was still here, one of her friends unexpectedly passed away very suddenly, and so she struggled with grief and depression for a while with that, and had this program been here part of that, I would like to have gone with her to kind of a personal grief session, just so that I would know what she's being taught, what skills she's learning, what advice they're giving her as well, just as a parent to know that. So a couple of other questions I have. I appreciate the slow rollout, I really do, because I think that's a mistake that a lot of schools and school districts make, is that they rush into programs, and even if they're good programs, and I admire that greatly. I think Mr. Miramontes is fabulous. I have nothing but positive things to say for him, so I think he's a wonderful choice. roughly how many students, now the program has not been live yet, but roughly how many students are receiving like mental health care, whether it's in a group setting or individually at this time? Do you have kind of a ballpark number?
I don't have it at the moment, but I can request it.
Okay, yeah, just out of curiosity. And then the other thing that I'd like to see is, as kids are participating in more of this, the goal obviously is to help them improve any kind of issues they're dealing with, whether it's anxiety, depression, things like that. Are there steps that are sort of tracking that, where they kind of graduate out of those sessions?
Yes.
Okay, so
So
there's
just to clarify, so CYBHI is just the reimbursement program.
the reimbursement, so
Just
it's,
to clarify, the
to
fee
what we're doing,
schedule,
okay.
that's all it is. It
Got it.
shares how much they would reimburse the schools for, let's say, a risk assessment. That's it. We do those a lot. We
Okay.
can get reimbursed for those things. So just want to clarify the differences.
Perfect. Okay, good. I
Distinguish
love that.
In terms of the groups that you said, yes, a lot of them, I know one that Ms. Han has run, the idea was for only a certain period, certain number of weeks, exit them, and let's look at a new group. And then from there, if they need it more one-on-one, then refer them to other services.
Okay, I like that. Question for you, the flyer is in English. Will there be one in Spanish as well?
Yes.
Okay. And then I think the last thing is the grant. I know you said it was a 5-year, and we were kind of slow to onboard. So do we anticipate, if we're starting in the fall, that we would only have like 3 years left, or is this going to be potentially longer?
Okay, so I apologize for this. So the grant, the capacity grant I was referring to, that's a separate one.
Okay.
That one I have till 2028 to spend.
Okay.
That's something separate. It was meant to build like that space where small groups would be held. If we need to get a wellness coach, that one is a separate one.
Okay.
We're cohort 5. This continues on until whenever the state says
Okay.
that it doesn't, initiative's no longer there. So we can do reimbursement as soon as we can have insurance providers from the parents.
Okay, I think that's great, and especially nowadays, a lot of parents may not have insurance, and a lot of parents may have insurance that doesn't have a mental health component as well.
So that was the other piece, that it wouldn't impact it. There are certain things, depending on the private insurance provider's Medi-Cal, that it can reimburse, even if it's not provided. So that's something that the state will deal with,
Okay.
our vendor.
Okay, were there any other questions from the board?
2 questions.
Okay.
If they don't have insurance, do we still bill?
Can I keep this?
No. It's the same as if a parent states, no, I don't want to give my insurance or consent. We don't bill,
Still
we
no
still
bill.
document on our system, and
So if they responded with, I do not have insurance,
we still continue providing, there will be small groups, mental
yeah,
health.
we're just not billing. Last question, as this comes out, will there be an option for refusal?
Yeah, they
from
just
a
don't
parent?
turn in the form. That's it.
No, I mean, if a parent said, I don't want my child to be part of that, whether it's reimbursement or counseling, is that an option?
I think that what Trustee Christensen is trying to say is that if a parent does not want their child seen or to receive services,
Like an
can they
opt-out?
opt out of that?
Yeah, can you opt out of the entire service regardless?
I mean, yes, they would just communicate with the counselor or whoever was making a referral that they would want. And we've had that. We've made referrals to Palomar Counseling Community Health Systems, and parents have chosen not to continue, and we don't provide services.
Right, let's just, for, as a sake of example, in August, I send a letter to my counselor and say, I don't want my child to be part of any counseling services. Is that upheld or is that?
My understanding is that the parent,
Sorry.
my understanding is that a parent, and this is not just with this service, but just as long as I've worked in schools, can say, I do not want my child to receive services, but if the student wants to receive services and they're over the age of 12, they would then sign that they don't have parent permission, and they would receive the services, the medical services that they're requesting.
And then the parent's not notified
Correct.
of the information.
Unless that student is going to hurt themselves or hurt someone else.
Got it.
And we had a case, there's, not here, but I have cases where it was that piece, and then afterwards, it was a conversation with the kiddo, let's call your parent to let them know, and then we would call the parent to inform them, this is where we met, blah, blah, blah. So, yes.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for all your work on this. This is a lot, so thank you. We're now at the public comment section. The Fallbrook Union High School District Board of Education encourages and invites the public to comment on agenda and non-agenda items. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. Per legislation 1292, the board will give twice the allotted time to a member of the public who utilizes translation technology assistance to address the board. Total public input on any one subject will be limited to 20 minutes and may be extended at the discretion of the board president. Comments on non-agenda items will be heard at this time. Comments on an agenda item may be taken at this time or when the agenda item is discussed by the board. Speakers will be called up in order by topic and when the card was submitted. The district's silence should not be mistaken for agreement with public comments. Rather, the board remains silent to comply with California law, avoid legal entanglements, and/or to protect the privacy of those involved. Do we have any comment requests?
We do not have any public verbal comments.
Okay, thank you. All right, we will move on to communications and reports. Reports from our student representatives. Who would like to start?
Good evening. My name is Kira Hart. I am the OASIS Student Board Representative, and tonight I'm going to be giving a report for OASIS as well as for Ivy High School on behalf of the Student Board Representative, Nenny. So starting with OASIS, after returning from winter break and starting semester 2, students are getting back into their routines, and there is a special emphasis on senior preparation as graduation soon approaches. While this is an exciting time, students are reminded to stay consistent with coursework and focus on the goal ahead. Our school counselor, Mr. Miramontes, will be meeting with seniors to review credit standings and other graduation details. More information about the graduation itself will be sent to students later this month. As always, service hours are being highlighted to students as an important requirement, and service opportunities are frequently sent out. As you all know, there are a lot of activities and events happening at Fallbrook High School on a daily basis, and a great benefit of OASIS is that our students can take part in those if they wish, while still having that flexible school schedule to accommodate other pursuits. This includes prom and grad night, which I know many students are looking forward to, among many other events. Other than that, there is nothing left to report for tonight, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And then for Ivy High School. Good evening, everyone. I am proud to take a moment to highlight some of the amazing things happening at Ivy High School and the opportunities our students have been a part of this year. First, our seniors have had some big milestones already. Senior photos were taken in Oceanside, giving our students a chance to capture memories they'll carry with them long after graduation. We've also held senior meetings covering important topics like graduation requirements, cap and gown orders, community service hours, and credits to make sure every student is on track to graduate. We also shared exciting information about grad night at Universal Studios, which is something our seniors can really look forward to. School spirit has been alive and well on campus. Spirit Week has brought energy, creativity, and fun, and our Valentine's candygrams were a big hit, spreading positivity and kindness throughout the school while adding to the excitement of the week. Our Ivy basketball team has had a strong start to the season with 2 wins and 1 very close loss, falling short by just 1 point. Their next game is on January 20th at Melba Bishop against Pacific Charters, and we're excited to continue supporting them. We're also rewarding students for dedication and consistency. On February 28th, students with 90% or higher attendance will earn a special attendance incentive trip to SeaWorld. Right now, almost 40% of our students qualify, which is an incredible achievement and shows a strong commitment to showing up and staying engaged. All of these events and accomplishments reflect the hard work, school spirit, and perseverance of our students and staff. Ivy High School continues to be a place where students are supported, celebrated, and encouraged to succeed, both inside and outside the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Trujillo?
Good evening, trusted members of the board. My name is Ashton Trujillo, and I am very excited to be here with you today to discuss the progress of Fallbrook High School since our last meeting. Since we last met, students have come back from break, transitioning into the trimester. In December, ASB successfully put on an engaging Spirit Week that was accompanied by community developing lunchtime activities. The theme was winter-based, with Monday being Polar Express Pajama Party, Tuesday, Family Holiday Card, Wednesday, Candy Cane Class Clash. Underclassmen wore red, while upperclassmen or white. Thursday, holiday jolly dress up. Students would have the choice to dress up as Santa or an elf or a reindeer. And finally, Friday, bring your own sleigh, which was anything but a backpack day. There was a pep rally on the 5th of December to promote the winter break and excite students. New games were tested, and the feedback received from those games will be taken into account in future pep rallies. As January progresses, the trimester progresses with it, leaving 6 weeks left of instruction for trimester 2. So to ease the mind of our young scholars, ASB has hosted Love on the Leash, specifically today during lunch in the bowl. Love on the Leash is an opportunity for students to meet emotional support animals that can alleviate stress the students may be experiencing. Peering further into January, on the 28th, ASB, AVID, and ROTC will work together to host educational tours about Fallbrook Union High School to the class of 2030. Additionally, that morning, there will be a pep rally for the future Warriors to set the stage for the day and their future high school experience. I, along with 2 other ASB members, will be planning this pep rally, ensuring to incorporate clubs, performing arts, and sports while playing fun games sure to appeal to the students' age group. Other aspects of the high school include the continuation of Saturday Academy, which takes place at the high school from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., helping students in various subjects, especially pre-calc. This event is open to the entire Fallbrook community, and blood drive will also commence on January 21st, taking place throughout the whole school day. Next, moving into February, the sophomore class will host Winterfest, which is an opportunity to showcase the various clubs here at Fallbrook High School and the academic opportunities. This is an event open to the entire Fallbrook community, especially the future Warriors. There will be a multitude of food trucks and arcade games for students and parents to enjoy. This event will take place on the 5th of January. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I love the collaboration between the clubs working together and what the clubs have put on at all of our schools. Thank you for representing them so well. Principals, if you'd like to come up.
Good evening and Happy New Year's. I want to first of all start by thanking Kira. I don't think Kira's missed a board meeting in 2.5 years, so thank you for just one. Okay, we won't count that one. But thank you for always being here and so steadfast and helping to represent when our other board members can't be here. I really appreciate everything you do. All right, so with Ivy, starting with Ivy, as Kira mentioned on behalf of NENI, we did hold our first senior graduation meeting yesterday. Really outlining dates, times, important things that they need to take care of as we head into the graduation season. We're always trying to get our seniors really excited, but also reinforcing that there are obligations and things they need to do to be able to walk that stage on June 2nd. So we held our first meeting with information that's going out to our parents, both on our website, in person, through our ELAC meetings, as well as through district email. Our second portion of that will be held in a secondary meeting next week during TIG, in which we're going to perform an audit process where students have a very clear picture of exactly what they need to do credit-wise to make sure that they can be on that stage on June 2nd. So we do a little bit of the let's get them fired up for it, and then the other side of, but also just remember exactly how many credits we need to be able to do that. So we are looking toward graduation. As Kira again mentioned, we did a Power of Promotion piece where we had our kids go take cap and gown photos on the beach with Mr. Bodie Smith, our photography teacher, and our photography students. And it's cool in that there was something in that process that had some of our kids who have been a little bit disjointed with the prospect of truly graduating, and that act has kind of lit a fire under some of them. So kids who have never really been taking graduation as seriously as we've liked are now starting to look more toward that prospect, which is part of our goal with the Power of Promotion and projection and what we've been doing as a school focus for this year. For Ivy, our most pressing issue over the next few weeks is that we do have a full cycle WASC visit coming up at the very beginning of February. We were able to meet with our visiting committee today. Our visiting committee members are coming to us from continuation schools and small districts, so they very much understand the work that we do. They received our report on December 22nd, and they are incredibly optimistic and already really looking forward to celebrating some of our accomplishments and the things we're doing, as well as using this as a collaborative opportunity between different school sites and how we're taking care of our alt ed students. So we're looking forward to that visit. We'll, of course, be sending out through Ms. Garza Gonzalez some information should you participate in some of those special focus groups. as part of that process, but we're also looking to do a lot of work around focus groups that celebrate the community culture of Ivy. So they'll be meeting with our CEI committee, student leaders, specialized intervention groups, executive leadership, our certificated staff, our classified staff, and of course, last but not least, our student leaders. So again, we're really looking forward to this process. They will be here February 2nd, 3rd, and delivering their final report on the 4th around 2 p.m. So if you're able to join us, again, I will pass that information along through Ms. Garza Gonzalez. And again, as Kira said, we don't have a lot to report on Oasis. We have started a new semester. This is really a period of transition for that school. We have had some retirements and some new teachers coming in. And so at this point in time, our school is really focusing on a collaborative culture and truly working together and refining some of our practices that will create more instructional fidelity without removing teacher autonomy, because we know when we collaborate together as a culture of experts, we can get the best results for our students. And again, we are pushing out information for our students who are at Oasis to participate in some of those great graduation and senior activities that we are fortunate enough to be a part of through Fallbrook High School. So thank you to Fallbrook for always treating us as brothers and sisters and letting us tag along on some of these events, because it's really important to our kids. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't. Thank you so much, and thank you for what you're doing with both schools. They're great.
Thank you.
Good evening. Happy New Year as well. It feels like January's been going on for quite a while now, but I sometimes forget we are still in a brand new crisp year. So just a few things. I know Ashlyn mentioned as well some of the activities we have planned at the end of this month. So our Future Warrior Day, that's turned into kind of an annual event that we look forward to collaborating with our feeder districts on. So we have several hundred students joining us on the 28th. Our CTE department is also working hard to put together a rotational opportunity for students coming in, so our incoming students have the chance to choose a pathway that they are interested in, or 3 pathways actually that they're interested in seeing a little bit more in depth. So they'll get to go to those classrooms and do something with our students and the teachers in the classroom that feels a little bit like what they would do in that pathway. We're hoping to kind of streamline and clarify that course selection process for our students to really understand what is available to them and what it looks like to be a part of those classes. So really focusing their attention on not just picking the top 3 things on the list when they choose their classes, but choosing with intention. And then the follow-up the following week, that Thursday evening, the 5th, we'll have the Winterfest here. Our 10th grade class is kind of hosting that along with the full ASB group, but really it is a chance to showcase the things that are happening on campus. We invite our incoming 9th graders to come to that little info session at 5:30, and then just kind of make their way through and talk to programs and staff from campus and students as well, who will give them an idea of some of the things that they can be involved with here. So I'm excited for that, and I think our staff and students are probably excited that they're moving it inside this year, because last year we were outside and it was lovely but very cold. So in that whole process of looking to next year, our counselors are actually beginning their pushes out to our feeder schools on January 30th. So that's coming up right around the corner, where we start to solicit feedback from our incoming students about what courses they want to take when they get here. We're doing a lot of work with that transition piece. So there's a small group of us on campus who've also been participating this year in something called SD9 Up, which focuses on how we lay a better transition or a better foundation for our 9th graders as they transition from middle school or junior high into the high school setting. So it's really, I think there's a lot of people on campus excited about what we can do to lay really solid groundwork in the 9th grade. We also had our senior meeting last Friday. Mr. Martinez met with all of our seniors. It's a meeting about information and then also a little bit of light the fire to make sure we stay focused during this second half of senior year when graduation seems like it's going to be right around the corner. And then just from a celebratory note, just a couple things that have happened in the last few days here for us as a campus. I was up at our ag department today talking to them about one of their grants that they receive, and hearing just the way that they plan to dive into some 4-year planning with our students, with some intention in regards to how do we help students maintain program involvement for 4 years while they're here, and so excited about some of the future opportunities there. I was with our ELA department today as they debriefed some walkthroughs they did in each other's classroom, and hearing the collaboration there, as Ms. Gardner mentioned as well. it is wonderful to see the ways that we're talking to one another about how we can be collaborative with the purpose of increasing engagement and critical thinking for our students in the classroom. And then last but not least, just kind of the external recognition of a lot of the work that our staff is doing. Something that the College Board sends to us annually is a notification about where we fall in comparison to other schools that offer programs like AP. So we've just received information on Friday that we are on the AP honor roll again this year, which is great news. Last year we were silver. We're silver again this year, but with some growth towards gold. So a couple of things that I just want to highlight there. It means that we're providing access to over 50%, or 57% of our graduating seniors in 2025 took at least one AP class while they were a student with us, which is a testament, I think, both to our counseling team and the advertising they're doing for students to say these are courses you have access to and can be successful in, and also to our student population that they are taking the opportunities to take some of those higher level and challenging, more rigorous classes. College culture is the one area where we're actually already in the gold, and that is where the number of students, or the percentage of our graduating seniors who actually not only took that class but passed it and are eligible to earn college credit through a university in the future, and that was 42% of our seniors last year. And then college optimization is the one that is, we need the tiniest little bit, but that's also because they're looking at how many of our students took 5 or more classes and passed, including 1 in 9th or 10th grade. 10% is a gold, we're at 8%, so we're right there in achieving that as well. But again, testament to our counseling team, our students, and our staff for encouraging students to constantly try some of those things that are more rigorous and give them a little bit of a taste of what advanced coursework would look like at the next step when they leave here. So proud of our site for that. Our APIB coordinator is hard at work also to find the closest match we can in comparing some of that data with our IB scores as well. So any questions for me today?
I do have a couple of questions. Well, first off, just comment the constant collaboration, and whether it's with departments, whether it's with teachers, whether it's students with different student groups, whether it's other organizations, educational community, that's such a key. I also think the building the expectations, helping the 9th graders be ready for 10th grade, which is always a huge struggle. Yeah. I watched my kids go through that. And then also the transition from high school to college for most of my kids went on to Palomar and then on to 4-year. So I don't have as much experience with directly to 4-year. But that interim time period is a struggle for them, can be a struggle for them. So I'm glad we're focused on that. You had mentioned when you're doing the, on the 28th, and that you're expecting hundreds of students. Are most of those coming from Potter?
Yeah, the majority are from Potter, but we do also collaborate with the Virtual Academy, Santa Margarita, Mary Fay as well.
Okay.
They're kind of split sometimes with their students depending on where they live on base, but they, I believe, have 15 or 16 students they're going to send our way as well with one of their teachers, and then Vallecillos as well.
Okay, Vallecillos is the other one. Okay, and yeah, it sounds just great. Really looking forward to all the different events that you have going moving forward. Are there any other questions by the rest of the board? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, board members, reports. Do you have anything you would like to report?
I just had a couple of things, but not so much of a report, but been to a few events at the school, and I just wanted to give a kudos shout out to the grounds crew. It's not very specific, but grounds crew, just the fields, the everything around the school looks great. It seems very clean and tidy and welcoming. So I just wanted to say that the grounds crew is doing a great job. The custodial service was doing a great job. And all the taking my kids to the bathrooms and things like that. They're doing a great job keeping up on it. So I appreciate that as a parent during 6th season. And then as many times as I've been on campus for various reasons, the security staff is always welcoming and approachable. I always want to kind of chat it up and see how things are going, so I appreciate that as well. And then I wanted to encourage community members. I know we probably have a few listening, but pass along to those out there. I wish that we'd get more people attending a bunch of the sporting events for various reasons. The kids that are playing the sport love to look up and see groups of kids supporting them that maybe even aren't their friends. But just seeing the community out there and involved, it kind of gives them a little rallying chip, if you will. But also parents just getting out there with their own kids to see the different sports, because then you have this variable of the high schoolers playing a sport and they're maybe trying a little harder, working a little harder, being a little more focused, because not only do they have other kids that are at the school watching them, but also they have the youth that are coming up and watching them. And I think that's an invaluable opportunity for the younger kids to watch different sports, the activities that they're doing, and kind of build up their own excitement for getting to high school and coming and playing sports and being involved in that kind of activity. I think it goes a long way throughout the entire community. And lastly, Mr. Rijo mentioned something that I think would be great for a future board meeting, was the Love on Your Leash. To have Love on Your Leash roaming around during a board meeting. Really take down the stress for everybody. So that was it.
I love that. That's a great idea. Mr. Haskell, did you have any comments?
No, I don't.
I just have a couple of things that I wanted to say. First off, to piggyback, Mr. Christensen, I love that concept. My husband teaches at Bonsall High School and was in a school play a couple of years ago, and the attendance was on the small side, and it was a 2-night performance, like a Thursday night and a Friday night, and Friday night, it ended up being full house, and what had happened was the baseball team had just finished their game, and so their coach had said, let's head over to where the theater kids are performing their play and watch it, and it was just full house. And it was just really great to see the theater kids and the baseball kids all interact with each other, and so that might be one way of encouraging the different departments or the different activities groups to support one another as they do things. It was kind of spontaneous. I don't think it had been planned, but it was very welcome. In terms of volunteer hours, I did want to notify everyone that the annual Lair al Fallbrook literacy event that is held every year at May Ellis is going to be on Saturday, April 18th, and so they will have volunteer hours. And I know that Ms. Garcia will have that information, and then probably through Pam Kane, sign up volunteers, so that's a good way. And so it's primarily helping out the younger elementary school kids. But the keynote speaker actually this year is Mr. Eric Ortega, who is on the Bonsall School Board and is a graduate of Fallbrook High School. So he's actually very excited to speak with that. And they will, along with they traditionally have Ballet Folklorico from the various schools. This year they will also have the birdsong dancers, which is what the Pala tribe, their performance art is. So that should be a lot of fun. I do also want to piggyback and thank IT for all their work. It is, we ignore the fact that everything is running smoothly, and we shouldn't. So thank you very much for making sure things go very well and that viewers at home can see us. And yes, we'd like to have you here in person as well. And then the last thing I want to mention is when we were at this school board convention in Sacramento in November, which now seems a lifetime ago. December. See, I can't even remember. One of the final speakers I was really impressed with, and so I usually like to go up to them and just kind of chat with them a little bit, and gave me his business card, and he has a podcast as well, and kind of said, I would really like to have you on our podcast. Your school just sounds amazing, your school district. And again, it's one of those where people say, oh, let's get together for lunch, and you never get together for lunch. So I kind of just shrugged it off, and it's actually happening. So I'm doing the podcast on the 23rd of this month, and so I've already let Ms. Garza Garcia know to get me some information, because the key is collaboration. That's what really we're going to talk about, and so I may reach out to both of our principals as well to get details from what you're doing, because that's primarily what I'm going to be talking about, is how we're working with the community, whether it's other school districts, with the elementary school district, whether it's with Rotary, whether it's the church that does the Student of the Month recognition, education or our schools working with one another. So anyway, so thank you very much. Okay, report from superintendent.
So congratulations, Ms. Jones and Fallbrook High School for your AP Silver status from the College Board. I wanted to talk about summer school, as the board knows, and maybe even the community, because we've talked about it in the past. We have been working on an electrical upgrade for the district, for Fallbrook High School. And obviously, during the school year, we can't work on it because we can't shut power off. But we've come to the third year or the second year of the project. It's year 2 of the project, and we are going to be shutting off electrical power intermittently during the summer. The work on the project is scheduled to begin the day after graduation, so June 4th, 2025, and it's significantly going to impact our summer school operations. So we have discussed it. We have looked at the number of students who might need remediation. But again, as a result of this electrical upgrade, which is very, very much needed, we are going to be impacting our summer school offerings. We will offer extended school year. Mr. Tippin, they have the handout, so they have the handout. If you couldn't get it, thank you. We will be offering extended school year. It's something that we have to do by law. I believe that we have to offer 20 days. So ESY will be provided for students that qualify, and the current plan is to house extended school year in the agricultural area in those classrooms for 2 main reasons. First of all, there's adequate access to buses, and there's a large restroom facility that's suitable for the special needs of the students in extended school year program. We are also going to offer our senior non-promote program, and this program will be held at Ivy High School. Although it is run through our online platform, we know that students do better when they are in person or when there's some accountability that they can check in. So this is going to require 1 or 2 teachers to support participating students. We don't know the exact number. We hope it's low, and that's why I'm saying 1 or 2 teachers. We also will require some temporary relocations. So the Fallbrook High School office and administration is going to temporarily be housed at Ivy High School. And then the Parent Center and the Migrant Education Center will be temporarily housed at Oasis High School. Another program that will be impacted is the summer band program. We are working with our elementary partners to see if we can offer the summer band program at Potter Junior High School, since traditionally it is a camp for incoming 9th grade students that are going to be joining band, and those details are still being arranged, and I will report back when they are finalized. The other big issue with the electrical upgrade is, of course, the pool. So the power is not going to be shut off entirely, and in the handout that you have, you'll see the different phases and the dates, but there are days where SDG&E has notified us that they will have to shut the power off completely, which is why we're relocating programs and offices that are 12-month, where they may have to shut off the power from 1 to 3 days consecutively. And that is an issue for our swimming pool. We will not be offering a summer swim program through FAST because we don't know what those dates are. There is the possibility of, with no filters running for more than 24 hours, that the pool isn't at a level where it is safe to go swimming, either because of the chlorine or whatever that may be. So we are looking at different possibilities, whether that be to somehow cordon off the area with temporary fencing, because we know that there are community people that have keys, and we would hate for someone to come in, use the pool without permission, and then suffer some injury because of what we're going through. We are looking at, or we've considered draining the pool altogether to avoid that problem, but that brings with it some other implications. So that's something that I will report back to you as well in the future, what the plan is for that. We did want to get the instructional program completely squared away so that we can start communicating that to parents as soon as possible so that they can make the appropriate plans. Any questions?
I had just a couple of questions. Generally, our summer school, what is the average number of students that attend? Does that vary greatly year to year, or?
The number has gone down. One of the things that we looked at is the trimester schedule and the ability for students to make up credits in that trimester schedule, and it is a possibility. Another program that's going to be affected is our Summer Bridge program that we use for struggling students that we've identified that may struggle in 9th grade. But there really is not a benefit to offer it at the middle school. That is something that we like to offer at the high school to show them where things are located. But I can send that information as to how many classes are offered. I know that we usually offer one section of English 9, one of English 10, 11 and 12 are offered online. We offer one section of Math 1, one section of Math 2, and then usually one U.S. history, one world history, and the American history. It depends. Sometimes those are online, sometimes they're in person, depending on the number of students that are signed up. If we don't have enough for a full class, then it becomes an online program because students that are taking other courses can take that as well. And we offer one biology section and one chemistry section. Electives are generally not offered during summer school.
Got it. So in terms of the number of teachers required, it may end up flexing depending on how many do online. Are there usually like 5 teachers that are involved, 10 teachers?
There's, I would say maybe 10 teachers. For the past 2 years, 3 years, we've had to hire teachers from outside of Fallbrook because our own teachers aren't available to teach summer school. The same thing with paraeducators. And again, this year it will only be 1 or 2 teachers.
Got it. Thank you very much. Any other questions?
I had just a clarification kind of about the pool situation as far as kind of the options. It sounds like, as it stands now, the options look to be either to drain the pool to avoid any issues potentially with the filters and the chlorine, or cordon off the area so they're not accessible. Are there any options for manual usage so that way the filters can be bypassed so the electrical doesn't impact? This is just one of the issues that I've been approached by members of the community as far as their concern, as far as children losing out on access to the pool. And I'm just curious kind of for them if any other options have been discussed that don't impact necessarily the students as severely as for this entire month of, I guess, late June to late July. Anything else that's been discussed?
We are looking at different possibilities. Again, we don't want a lawsuit because somebody gets injured because of the chlorine levels, et cetera. The other course that I forgot was PE. We do offer a PE course. It isn't only swim, it also includes other sports. So again, just the pool, and because of the delicate state of the pool, I mean, we're just worried that the power is going to be shut off altogether. Who knows if it's going to come back on if the pool will run again. Because everybody's well aware of the issues that we have there. So those are things that we're still exploring. Again, our main focus was on the instructional piece to start communicating that to parents. As far as the FAST program, we do know that our students will miss out on the opportunity to work as lifeguards, and then our swim teams or water polo teams may lose out on a little bit of practice, although the pool should be back up and running before school starts.
Is the Camp Pendleton pool use an option at all during summer or no?
The FAST program, again, is not part of our program, so the FAST program can investigate that and see if they're able to use the Pendleton pool and offer a community swim program for them.
Yeah, and I assume the Vista Water Park is not going to be an option because that will be open for kids out of school all summer. So, all right, any other questions before you finish?
No, I just, I think the only pool left in town is the Boys and Girls Club. Pretty small, probably in about the same shape as ours, probably built around the same time as ours. But I would request that we at least contact them in the process of it. I know their pool's not the biggest lap pool type of thing, but if maybe coordinating something for the public, for a few of the community members that do swim in the early morning, that have keys, that kind of thing, that have been doing it for a long time, coordinating with something with the Boys and Girls Club to say, is there a way to manipulate not so much their schedule, but to allow some openings for community members to still swim while ours is down? That would be my only thing, just to reach out to them. And
I can definitely give Sean Redmond the contact information so that he can reach out to them.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, our next agenda item falls under Education Services. Agenda item 13A, Action, International Baccalaureate Sports, Exercise, and Health Science Standard Level. I need a motion for this.
I move that the board approve the International Baccalaureate Sports, Exercise, and Health Science Standard Level as presented.
In a second.
I'll second.
Okay, are there any questions on this? Okay, if not, we'll take a vote. Our student representatives have left for the evening. Mr. Carlampio is not here. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell?
Aye.
Mr. Jones is not here, and I will say aye. Our next item is also under Student Services, Action, Cal SCHLS, I hate acronyms, California Healthy Kids Survey Memorandum of Understanding. I need a motion for this as well.
I'll move for the action item Cal SCHLS, California Healthy Kids Survey Memorandum of Understanding. The board approve the survey memorandum of understanding as presented.
I can second that motion. Am I allowed to do that? Are there any other questions on this one? Do we need any clarification? Okay. Our student representatives have left for the evening. Mr. Carlampio is not here. Mr. Christensen?
Aye. I think I've asked all my questions over the years for this one. Probably still standing for where we were last year.
We'll just have it be the running comment. Mr. Haskell?
Aye.
Mr. Jones is absent, and I am aye. And then now we have the second action item, which is what was added to the amended agenda. Waive graduation requirement, community service hours for one student. I'll make the motion that the board approve the waiver of the community service hours graduation requirement for one student, class of 2026, who completed all academic requirements and is ready to graduate. I need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, any questions on this, or do you want to elaborate?
Yes, so the board may recall that they put in place a system for students that had not completed their community service hours, that had special circumstances, to be able to meet with the board president or another board member designated by the board president to review their case and then bring that to the board. So President Caralampio asked Vice President Jones to meet with the student. The student is an OASIS student that does have some extenuating circumstances and some hardships that have prevented the student from completing the hours. If I recall correctly, I believe the student has completed 30, but they're also requesting, because of the hardships, to graduate early. And it's coming before you tonight. I know that at the last meeting, Vice President Jones had mentioned that he would be speaking to it, but unfortunately, he's under the weather.
Thank you for the clarification. Any other questions?
So they've completed 30, and how many were required?
40.
If we are ready for a vote, Mr. Carlampio is absent. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell?
Aye.
Mr. Jones is absent, and Mr. Darty votes aye. A third action item, petitions to graduate early. I need a motion, please.
I move for the action item petitions to graduate early.
A second. I'll second it. Do you mind clarifying this one just for us quickly?
Yes, so we do have a board policy that states that students and parents have an opportunity to petition for early graduation based on credits completed, community service hours completed, AG completion, and being on track for career and/or college. Most of the graduation petitions do come from Oasis High School, and there is a system in place now. We have, of the students that are requesting early graduation, we have 2 students that are stating that they would like to start college early. That is not uncommon for Oasis, although in the past it has always been acceptance to a 4-year university. This year it's just wanting to start Palomar College early, which is something that students can do while still enrolled in high school. Another one of the cases, again, it's a hardship situation where the student is turning 18 and will no longer have a place to live and sees coming to school as something that could be negatively impacted by his home life and is afraid that they won't be able to continue coming or finish graduation, or something will happen. And then the other case is a student, also Oasis. As you know, at Oasis we have students that are professional athletes. In this case it's a professional model who has finished the work, travels extensively, and would just like to work a little bit more on her modeling career and has met all of the requirements that are needed.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Any other questions from the board? If not, we're ready to vote. Mr. Carlampio is absent. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell?
Aye.
Mr. Jones is absent, and I vote aye. Next item is under Business Services. Number 1, information, the 2025 to 26 Student Enrollment Report. This is an information item.
I don't have an official presentation. The entire enrollment report is included in the board item. But I do want to point out the 25-26 projected ADA. You will really never see that number again. It will not come to fruition, barring an influx of enrollment. But what that is that takes our enrollment number on CBED's Day, CalPAD's Day now, which is the first Wednesday of October, which was 2013. That times our general ADA, which is our average daily attendance, percentage is about 93. So if you take 2013 multiplied by 93%, you get 1,872. That's why that is there as our projected ADA. But every month, our enrollment changes. For instance, when we first did our CBED's Day, CalPAD's Day now, it was 2008. Then we found out we were missing some of our non-public school students, so we added 5 to that, 2013. Like as in the report it mentions, we have a chance to go back and do a certification mid-January. So I think right now it's 2013. I don't expect that to be changing. That's our enrollment for the year. That is locked in. That enrollment number will not change, but the enrollment has changed. And every month we run an attendance report. And so one month our attendance report, we had 2,009 students. Then in month 3, we had 1,973 students. And then now month 4, we're back to 2,000 students. And so our enrollment does fluctuate. And then our ADA is the students that are enrolled actually coming to school every day and being marked present. So that fluctuates between 92 to 95%. So most of the time, the ADA we're projecting. So I'm taking our enrollment at the month times 93%, and that's for that month. But when it matters, when it's P2, that's what we're funded on, and that is month 8, which is the end of March. So then I go back and I say, okay, over time, and I've gone back 10, 15 years, between P1 and P2, we lose, sometimes we've lost 45 students, sometimes we've lost 7, sometimes we've lost 30. So if I do an average, it's about 22 students that we lose from P1 to P2. So we just did P1, and our P1 was Our P1 was 1868. So according to history, we usually lose about 20-some students. I said, well, maybe P2 will be 1854. So that's what we're hoping at the end of March. But the reason that the enrollment report shows 1872 is simply, like I stated, because it's the enrollment at Seabed's Day times 93%. Because that's what's required of us to report in the SACS forms on the criterion standards when I submit my first interim, second interim, and you get that huge stack of all that exhibit. Part of that, one of those standards is what is your percentage of ADA from, and so that's what it does. It takes that simple calculation. That's why I used that number in this report. But like right now, like I said, we're more gonna probably be closer to an 1860, 1854 when we get close to the end of March. Any questions on any part of the enrollment report?
Just to clarify, a steady decline. Very little over so many years, but a few here and there each year. We're seeing a steady decline in enrollment.
We are. And actually, we're picking up now because we actually increased 12 students. And if you can see, like in the past, there was a time we were decreasing about 100 students a year, and that started to level off. And then during COVID, the numbers that we got to use were actually higher than what we really had. So now we're kind of getting back to reality. Like we would use a cohort model, and it was pretty spot on. It's all over the place now, because according to the cohort model, we should be increasing like 20, 30 students. That's not happening. So right now, we're really stuck to just kind of waiting and seeing.
Just so I know, basically if we wipe COVID out, take those numbers out, our numbers projected 1872 versus say 1920, it's right around when COVID started, but 2026, we're still lower than we were before COVID, and kind of a steady decline since then.
Yes.
Minus the fluctuation of COVID years.
Yes.
Copy.
Yes.
Thank you.
That progressive decline, even if small, is that indicative of, I mean, is it across the board for schools? Do we see, like, are we an outlier? Any idea if that's normal, abnormal?
In the state of California, and especially in San Diego County, most districts are seeing a decline. There are some that are seeing an increase, but most of them, when at my CBO meetings, everybody shares out where they're at with enrollment, and it's just the state of California is overall in a decline. We kind of offset that a little bit as it didn't affect us because we don't have an elementary school, we're not a unified district, we're high school. Because when TK came into play, as that was a new grade that was added a few years ago, so the increase in the TK students kind of offset the decline. So those districts stayed flatter, showed a little bit of an increase, but now that's kind of leveling out, and so even those districts are starting to decline as well.
And just for clarity though, even if it's countywide or statewide, based on what you put the information in here, but nobody can see it, but you had Mission Hills or Mission Vista opened up over the last, I don't know, 5 years. So there's one influx of another school students are going to. Bonsall has opened up and developed their high school program more extensively over the last, say 5 to 10 years, somewhere in there. So you have a pretty steady amount of kids, even though you have 2 new schools that are relatively close and an option for students to go to or for parents to go to. We had 52 transfer in and 80 transferred out. Majority of those going to, it says Vista, I'm assuming is Mission Vista. So the convenience of that school location, obviously some of our decline is going to be because of more schools developing, and I think we're still holding pretty steady on our enrollment regardless of other schools opening up and things that we offer, which is a huge blessing to the community, whether it's sports, language arts, dual immersion, that kind of stuff. So we're holding steady. which is nice.
Yes, correct, because most of our decline in the beginning, back in 14, 15, and when Bonsall unified, we had a huge decline there of students that were then going there. Mission Vista has, and that's, yeah, it's listed by district, but the Vista's district, the school is Mission Vista, that most of the students are going to. And so that's a huge part of our decline. And the ones that are coming in are for our specialized programs. They'll come for our IB program, and a lot come in for our sports programs. So that's the reason that they do put, and then, so we do the best we can to retain who we can.
And Bonsall is legally limited as to some of the sports that they can't do, so that benefits us to some degree as well, because we do get some of those students. And just to clarify for the members watching online, ADA is the average daily attendance. I know there was a lot of discussion at the school board conference in terms of that is being looked at the state, changing that to enrollment-based and not ADA-based, but at this point, that has not changed yet. Is that correct?
That has not changed yet, no,
Okay.
correct.
And they're not talking about changing that at this point. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brenda. Apologies. Next item is the Superintendent Human Resources. Item number 1, information, revised new and deleted board policies, BP, and administrative regulations, AR, and Exhibits E. This is for information only.
Yes, this is our regular monthly item. The revised new and deleted board policies and administrative regulations are being presented as an information item for a first reading and will return as an action item at the next board meeting. Ongoing reviews and updates are necessary with board policies and administrative regulations. This review enables the district to ensure the policies, regulations, exhibits, and bylaws conform to state and federal law. The district compares its policies, regulations, exhibits, and bylaws with CSBA recommendations. Additionally, the review serves as a reminder to the governance team and staff of the operational principles and implementation guidelines for the district. At this time, there are no financial implications associated with the agenda item, and it is presented as an informational item for first reading and will be placed on the next agenda for action.
Thank you. And just to also clarify that we take this for granted that we do this every single month. When I was getting a lot of my training done, that is not the case in many, many school districts. They do not update on a regular basis. They may do it once a year. They may do it once every couple of years. A lot of school districts don't necessarily have a master facility plan in place. So we are very fortunate that we do run our policies officially according to legal guidelines. The next item is an action item also for revised new and deleted board policies, BP, administrative regulation, AR, and Exhibits E. I do need a motion for this one.
I move that the board approve in the second reading the revised new and deleted board policies, administrative regulations, exhibits, and bylaws as presented.
Second?
I'll second.
Our student members have left for the evening. Any other questions regarding this one? Okay. Mr. Carlampio is absent. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell?
Aye.
Mr. Jones is absent, and Ms. Rodardi votes aye. The third action item is to adopt resolution number 12-2526, intention to reduce/discontinue certificated employees. I do need a motion for this one, please.
I'll move for the action item, adoption resolution number 12-2526, intention to reduce, discontinue certificated employees.
I'll second that. Are there any questions on this?
No questions. I think just as a comment of understanding a lot of what we've talked about of enrollment numbers, whether it's enrollment or ADA, there's a lot of factors that have come into this over the years where we've trying to budget, trying to hire, trying to cover different variables. And this is just an action item to propose it, if you will, as we move forward. It's not a absolute, but it is definitely something budget-wise we are having to accommodate for various reasons.
Well phrased, and yeah, to piggyback, a lot of that will also depend on what our enrollment is at time. how many classes that we offer, and the number of teachers that are needed to staff those. Any other comments or questions? Okay, ready to vote. Mr. Carlampio is absent. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell?
Aye.
Mr. Jones is absent, and I vote aye. And our final item is the consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered by the Board of Trustees to be routine and to be enacted with one action. There's usually no discussion of these items prior to the time of the Board of Trustees vote on the motion unless members of the board request a specific item to be discussed or deleted from the consent agenda. I do need a motion on this one, please.
I'll motion for the action item approval of consent agenda.
Okay.
Second.
Chris seconds that. Thank you. Any other comments or anything? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote. Mr. Carlampio is absent. Mr. Christensen?
Aye.
Mr. Haskell?
Aye.
Mr. Jones is absent, and I vote aye. And that completes our consent agenda. Item number 15 is organizational matters. This is the appropriate place in the agenda for members of the board to request the superintendent provide further information regarding items discussed at this meeting and/or request that new items of business be placed on future agendas. Does the board have any additional items it would like from our?
I know I was gone in December. I'm just requesting again that the survey results.
Yes,
The-
that's coming in February.
Okay.
For the trimester.
Yeah, if I could just get the raw data before it's all compiled, so just to look through and get a take on it prior to our meeting, that'd be great.
Okay. Anything else? The only other item that I thought of, and maybe it's something the board needs to discuss, is we do have a Student of the Month recognition that is done through one of the local churches. And I do wonder if we should mention who those students are at our monthly board meetings, just so that we acknowledge them at this one for those who aren't able to attend that event. Just a thought.
And to clarify, it's actually put on by the nonprofit's Fallbrook Student of the Month. It's held in the church, but the church doesn't actually
Got it.
sponsor the program.
Yeah. But that might be, it's always nice to recognize our students and what they do and give a shout out to them. Item number 16 is the date and time of our next meeting. The next regular meeting of the Board of Trustees will be held on Wednesday, February 11th, 2026 at 4:30 in the Fallbrook High School Library. This is now the adjournment. There being no further business to come before the board, the regular meeting of January 14th, 2026 was adjourned